What's up, everyone? Today we're getting real. Let's face it, most of us are in the middle of a full-blown existential crisis. Yeah, I said it. Especially as guys, we bottle everything up, plow it into the gym, the grind, random hobbies, anything to keep the inner chaos quiet. Meanwhile, women, they've got group chats, they Snapchat their friends every day, and they've got support on demand for every little thing. But guys, sometimes we don't talk to our friends for years, and when we do, it's the same tired line. Oh, hey man, I'm good. But let's be real, we're not good, are we? All right.
This is the thing I hear from all women nowadays. Where are all the masculine men? I'll tell you, the second you meet them, you run and hide.
Because they don't want to sacrifice a part within themselves, so that would
men
require them to show up.
Men are not willing to give up their commitment for somebody that is still committed to other things. And women need to really understand that, is that it's not easy to be with a real man. Most women say they want a high-value alpha male. They don't. They've been trained to want men that lie to their face. And that needs to be challenged.
Let's get into why dating today has become an absolute minefield for guys. And it's not just because everyone's swiping left and right. Modern dating is tough, especially when so many men feel completely misunderstood by the very people they're trying to connect with. It's like men and women are speaking different languages, and no one's got Google Translate. Here's the reality. Men today are juggling career pressures, personal goals, and let's be real, a truckload of internal struggles. They're expected to be the perfect blend of confident, sensitive, driven, and emotionally available. But ask a guy how he actually feels. He's probably not going to open up in a way that fits neatly into a 280-character response. And that's where a lot of misunderstandings start. Women often see a guy's struggle and think it's just a lack of commitment or effort. But let's face it, men process their problems differently. They might be stressed out from work or dealing with insecurities that, truthfully, they're not even ready to admit out loud. And while women might have their friends and support systems, men are often left to go it alone, not because they want to, but because that's just how things are for them. When they finally do open up, they're expected to be vulnerable but also rock solid, which is impossible to balance. Add in the fact that men are bombarded with 1,000 mixed messages: be the provider, but also be chill and low maintenance. Don't be too traditional, but also don't forget the old school values. Make the first move, but don't be too assertive. It's exhausting, and honestly, it's making dating feel like an uphill battle. Women want men who get it, but rarely consider the silent struggles guys are handling behind the scenes. So, if relationships are about mutual understanding, we need to realize that today's dating culture isn't doing much to foster that. Men are tired of feeling like they're a series of checkboxes to be filled, rather than people with their own battles and boundaries. Is it any wonder that so many guys are stepping away from the dating scene altogether, choosing instead to focus on their own lives, rather than wade through a dating culture that often feels stacked against them?
This guy's 24 years old and has been on Tinder 128 days. He swiped 59,760 times, which is the equivalent of swiping 467 times a day. So he's definitely paying for gold. He only swiped right 183 times, which means he swiped right on 99.97% of people. So I really don't want to know what those 0.03% look like. Out of those 59,577 right swipes, he got 342 matches, which for a guy on Tinder isn't even that bad. So for every girl that swiped right on him, 173 swiped left. Those 342 matches led to 162 chats, but he got 0 dates. What I'm trying to say is Tinder is a fucking scam. Save your money, boys.
Let's be real. The whole conversation around men's mental health is sorely lacking, and sadly, it's not a priority for a lot of people. Men are often expected to be tough, resilient, and unshakable. They're pressured to suppress how they feel, to just man up, because somehow acknowledging their struggles is seen as weakness. And when it comes to dating, this stigma is amplified. Here's the kicker. A lot of women say they want men to be open, to be emotionally vulnerable. But when a guy does open up, it's not always received the way he hoped. Too often, he's met with impatience, or worse, treated as too sensitive or needy. It's like he's supposed to carry the emotional burden of a relationship without actually expressing any of his own struggles. And let's not sugarcoat it. There's this unspoken belief that if a guy doesn't perform to societal standards, he's disposable. If he's not constantly in control, strong and confident, then suddenly he's not worthy of respect or support. In today's world, it's easy to see men as fine by default. They're the ones expected to provide, to fix, to be the rock, without needing any emotional support themselves. But imagine the impact of that on a guy's mental health. He's constantly dealing with the weight of everyone else's expectations, while being told that his own feelings are secondary or even irrelevant. It's no wonder men feel isolated, or like they have to keep their guard up. When men are made to feel like they're disposable, only valued when they're performing or meeting someone else's needs, it creates a vicious cycle. They become less willing to open up, to let their guard down, and ultimately, to engage fully in relationships. And while this dynamic might serve some short-term ideals, in the long run, it's leaving men feeling emotionally abandoned. So if society truly cared about men's mental health, the conversation would be about acceptance, support, and genuine respect. Not about expecting men to carry everyone else's weight without so much as a shoulder to lean on. So, I'm talking to you if you're in that 25 to 35 range. You're past that carefree 20s optimism, and suddenly, life's looking a lot more confusing. You might be hustling in your job, trying to build something, or stuck in a relationship that's not going anywhere. And here's the kicker. You feel lost, but don't even know how to ask for directions.
Is dating today, in your opinion, harder than it's ever been?
I was friends with my boyfriend before we started dating, and I feel like that's a more natural transition than like seeing features on your screen and trying to make a decision based on like a list of things.
People just try and avoid things because I think they're scared to say things straight up.
One red flag and you're kind of like, oh, I could go find somewhere else. You don't need to have one person when you could have like 5.
Honestly, I don't know. I've had really bad luck. So everything. Like, I've been treated like shit.
I think a big part of it is because of social media.
People see a lot, they exposed to a lot. They're always looking for better.
Everyone is always looking for the best thing, and they always think something else is around the corner, and you almost have too much access to too many people.
I recently hit up some friends I hadn't spoken to in ages, suggesting we grab a drink or just chill. And this time, I didn't take the "I'm good" answer. I said, "No, man, really, what's going on?" Because everyone's got their stuff, and most people, they're not happy. They're stressed, on edge, battling issues in silence because they don't want to sound weak or whiny.
To be honest, I'd rather just be a little lonelier than deal with all the hassle of dating. I'm really not in a place emotionally and financially where I can deal with sorting through a bunch of misses to find a missus. Nowadays, with dating apps, there's always something new and more exciting just around the corner. So many women I've dated have abruptly broken things off because they found something more exciting. Dating is like taking on a part-time job. I don't have the time or the energy. I'm sure all of you can relate to that. Social media, Hollywood, and porn have really altered the expectations of the general public across the board when looking for a mate. It's actually really messed up psychologically when a person thinks about it. Specifically, unrealistic expectations are held by people who conveniently hold themselves to extremely low standards but feel entitled to the best. More specifically, unrealistic expectations are held by people who act like victims when they're confronted with equally high expectations.
One of my friends is grinding in real estate. His firm's pressuring him to sell more, using shady tactics, and it's hitting his confidence. Then there's my buddy with his own business. He's working 12-hour days and feels like he's spinning his wheels. He's frustrated, especially after getting hit with a massive tax bill. And don't even get me started on my other friend, an app developer who dreams of being a musician but is stuck coding 14 hours a day just to pay the bills. Look, we're all on this hamster wheel, sprinting in circles. In our early 20s, we thought life would be full of adventure, that we'd be doing big things, maybe traveling the world or starting something amazing. Then reality comes in like a cold slap to the face. You need experience to get anywhere, and by the time you're in, you're just grinding to stay afloat. Financial stability? Sure, that's great. But then what? Once you're secure, where's the meaning? It's like we're following a script that no longer fits, and the big question just hangs there. What's next? And that's it for today on Sigma Traits. Make sure you hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that notification bell. Support this channel through membership. You can also support through PayPal link in the description. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. See you all tomorrow.